This is an interesting story. I never knew what it was to be a journalist, what it was to be a reporter, to go on TV and do the ground research work and tell the story. But this happened as a surprise, by chance. But I think that's the best thing that happened to me. I was just 17 years of age when I was given the opportunity to join Sri Lanka's largest media network at the time. I was given a training opportunity, and incidentally, my first day was to cover an explosion in a part of Colombo. This was during a 30-decade, or rather 3-decade war that was ongoing in Sri Lanka. So at age 17, I was put to the epicenter of a bomb explosion where I was asked to report. And that's when I really understood what it was and what a responsibility it was. To start off my reporting career at that time was quite challenging. To leave home in the morning, return home closer to midnight, that wasn't an easy task. That was not something that was welcomed in our culture too, for a girl to come home late in the night. But at the same time, I think I had to just push those boundaries to say, no, I'm going to be safe. I had to, it was a constant challenge to put my case, to argue my case with my parents at that time, because I was just after school. During the height of the conflict, I was interested in finding out, researching what led to this kind of challenges among communities. Sri Lanka has been multicultural, multi-ethnic, but at the same time, why did an ethnic conflict emanate? Why? What was the reason behind it? And I wanted to delve deep into it. And it's quite it's fascinating sometimes when I spoke to people, when I went around the country. Of course, it was not easy for me to get permission to get out of home, to go out and do these stories, come late. But still, this is a constant battle. But I understood that there were others who had bigger stories, bigger challenges, and my story there was their story. To tell their story was, I felt like that was why I had been empowered. So that opportunity to tell stories of women who have been marginalized, women whose husbands went out to war, whose brothers or fathers were at war, who had no livelihood, who didn't know how to make ends meet, but still those women were courageous. They knew how and what to do in order to push the boundaries in this society, to navigate through their challenges and find a way to ensure that their children, their families were safe and they were well fed. Again, post-war, I think there were bigger challenges, reconciliation, and we had widowed women in Sri Lanka, and we are also talking about reconciliation and integrating to society former war, former terrorists, former LTT cadres who had fought the war. And I remember an amazing story that I did about a young boy who, if I'm not mistaken, was about 19 or 20 years. He was fighting the war. He was on the side of this LTTE terrorist group who was fighting the war along with the government. Amazingly, after the war, he became a big television media star here in Sri Lanka. He went on to become an actor. And I think that story about reconciliation, bringing communities together, bridging the communities together, those were the kind of stories that I was interested in. Language, I believe, plays a massive role, which is why I'm interested in English as a linked language. I have been promoting this throughout my stories. Music, dance, and other forms where different cultures and ethnicities could forget about their differences but yet come together and communicate. These are the stories I have been talking about. And again, a highlight was post-tsunami, how many women who lost their men, many children who lost their families, how they came about rebuilding their lives, how they came about still to contribute to the society and move forward with utmost strength and conviction, faith and belief in their own lives. These 15 years haven't changed much for me. It hasn't really changed because My parents feared at the age of 17 what the world was going to be like for me reporting on the ground. It was not the best of times, especially. And then again, uh, you come across the everyday bullying, everyday sexism, everyday limiting your appearances to just, being a woman, or limiting um, a female, limiting you to your female attributes, restricting you to what you look, how you are, and that's all that's spoken of. But there is more to speak here. How much women are capable, how far women can go, how strong women are. I think those those were the areas that I had to fight and talk about. It hasn't been easy. Everyone asks me how you have been in media for 15 years continuously. Not a day has been has passed when I had maybe gone into a different industry. I didn't want to. I knew this is where I had to be. Why? Because I had to be the voice for those who did not have the voice. It's not easy for a woman, of course, in our culture. But again, many women have overcome these challenges. Many have taken that brave step forward. I could speak from my personal experiences. Just very recently, I was subject to internet bullying, which obviously started with a lot of banter, but there you're limited to your physical attributes. Only everyday sexism coming into play. But here, I think how I came about it was to understand their mentality, to not play into it, not let them take the best of you, not let your emotions take over you. So you look at the bigger picture there. You asked me about what message I could give to aspiring girls. I think all I have to say is do not fear. Yes, it is difficult. Yes, it is going to be challenging. Yes, there will be a lot of obstructions your way. But the beauty of it is how you overcome that, how you ensure that you circumnavigate this, because you don't want to be the one who discourages another young girl from taking the path that she aspires to be. I don't know how inspiring or how much of an inspiration I could instill, but even if I could inspire one girl, I should be able to do that, not discourage anyone. So the more challenges you face, the more you should fearlessly and with confidence show that you can overcome those. You might fail, you might not be able to do it at one go, but it's about your stamina to overcome these challenges. So be bold, do not fear, be fearless, I must say. Be bold and embrace your potential.